we went to the Catersource convention, and that's why we're having this podcast to talk about. And we had this presentation and a bunch of a big conference, a lot of people, and Shawn would not let me prep at all. He's like, no, we know this. We're just going to get into it. So obviously no prep for this podcast either.
Well, I think, one of the things that we teach anybody that's watching this, and we talk to, the greatest creators and storytellers on earth. One of my favorite sayings is that you don't need to do the prep when you live it.
Right.
I've been preparing. You and I have been preparing for the microphone, for the video, and our goal is to add value to whoever finds this content, whoever's listening, whoever's watching.
Well, especially for the conference at Catersource, because it was called Be the Show, Not the Commercial. That was the name of our program there, and that is something you live every day, and we've been talking about it for years now. So why don't we get into your impressions of Catersource, having not been there before, and then we'll get into like the specific content of our presentation.
Sure. I mean, Catersource is something that you've posted about. I mean, this is the craziest thing for me is how do you find out about new things that you should be learning, new things that are going to move your business forward? Well, I use my iPhone and I'm on apps like Facebook and Instagram and email, and I listen to podcasts and I watch YouTube videos, and I'm on LinkedIn. So it's like, for me, when you decide to tell your story about why is Duce Raymond going to Catersource to not only present, but to learn, it registers in my mind of, well, I need catering for my restaurant. Like, I want to grow catering sales at our barbecue restaurants in San Diego.
Right.
So what can I do to get myself to that conference so that I can learn, so that I can ask questions from companies that have 10x, 100x the revenue that we have at our restaurant? I don't want to make the same mistakes. And if there's information that's there, why not get there? And why not learn from people like you and people that were presenting, hey, this is what we did for our restaurant business or our cater. Maybe they don't even own a restaurant and they're just a catering company. Well, what can a restaurant learn from that?
Right.
Well, you establish these relationships with wedding venues, establish relationships with businesses that do repeat catering. Like, those are things that we don't think about as restaurant owners, because every single day our restaurant's open.
Right. And, to be honest, when we first started going to Catersource in 2012, it really opened our eyes to a lot of ways that specifically catering can make you more money, and things, how you should charge for certain services. And there's so many little tips and tricks you can learn at a conference like that from, like you said, caterers that have been doing this for a long time. Their, sales are a lot higher than typical catering companies are. And there's a reason they're successful, and there's a reason that they're presenting. What did you learn about the largest catering company in Chicago?
I mean, $1 million a week is pretty impressive to me. If you do $1 million a week in sales, $52 million over the year, I'm impressed, like, not only is that impressive from a catering standpoint or a food, like, that's just an impressive business.
Right.
They have systems and processes and procedures in place to generate those types of sales, to sustain those types of sales. Because, catering is a cyclical business. It's up and down. And like, yes, you get the client one time for a wedding, but that client hopefully doesn't have to get married again, right?
Right.
So how do you get more sales, and how do you grow a catering business? Because you can't just depend on weddings, because, like I said, that's not a repeat customer. When you have a corporate client, somebody that's ordering for a quarterly event or a monthly event, it's much more sustainable. But a company that's doing $52 million a year, I'm taking out pen and paper and writing down everything that they say.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive.